is not a new concept. History has shown us the experiences of the historic voices and martyrs. Have you been struggling with pain in the past? Do you need help dealing with things that are holding you back from achieving all that you want in life? Tune in to My Pain, Your Gain, hosted by Pastor Arthur Williams. This show is designed to help the next generation accomplish the goals they've set out to attain through practical conversations. Join in and find how to turn prior pain into glorious gain.
Good morning, family. Good morning. Welcome to another episode of My Pain, Your Gain, hosted by your boy, Pastor Art, man. It's good to see everybody. Thank you for all of your support, supporting this show, this podcast. We believe in God to take this thing to higher heights and deeper depths. I have a special guest today with me, my brother, one of my brothers from another mother, man. We've been in this thing for a minute. We came up in ministry together, but before that, we met in middle school, and we've been tight ever since, man. So I want to introduce to some and present to others. Get that old school introduction. None other than my brother, man, James Jairus Sampson. He's not a junior. He's Jairus. He is on. So James Jairus Sampson. Glad to have you on the show, bro.
Glad to be here, brother. I like how you did the full government. Pastor Arthur Gene Williams. Very happy to be here, man. You're doing a great job with your show, man. We're praying for you every week on it, man. Really proud of you, man. Thank you for allowing us to be here on today.
Thank you, bro. Thank you, bro. Well, you know how I do it, man. We do it. You know what this show about. You've been a major supporter of the show. So we're just going to have a good conversation and sit back and chill and relax and then give the people a good show, man.
Yes,
so I know you were born in Jacksonville. As you want to say, born and raised. I already know you finna throw it out there, so Polk Ave or whatever. So tell us about your childhood, man, and how you got started in your beginnings.
Yeah, man. I had a very, very good childhood. Better than most. I'm very blessed about that. Born to James B. Sampson and Sheila Sampson. I was raised on the street. You already said it, called Polk Ave, where we had a lot of fun. But it created a lot of character with us. Playing ball in the neighborhood and Pop Warner. Did a lot of things like that. But I was in church a lot also, and that really forged, my mentality on life, ministry, and how to handle crisis in my life. And so I was one that has always sought knowledge. Even whatever I did, I played basketball. As you know, I consider myself as a basketball historian. And then early childhood was a lot of music. Yeah. Did a lot of music. Yeah. Musical influences from my grandmother, Catherine Gamble.
Man, listen, hold on, not to cut you off, bro. When I tell y'all, okay, he's a singer. I just throw it in there every now and then. But let me tell you about this. This dude knows. This is the first dude I ever met that know every line of a hymn. Like, I don't care what hymn is out there. This joker here know it, and that comes from Grandma Catherine, right?
Grandma Catherine, yeah. Most who know me know I'm very, very deep in the musical scene. Every Monday before she died, and you know this, you've been with you, we used to roll sometimes. She would call me between 10 and 10:30 every Monday before she got ill, and would teach me a song. But what added to that was I went to the famous Jean Ribault Senior High School.
That's it.
Up under the direction of Dr. Eugene Lincoln White Senior. He don't mind me saying that.
Yeah, he don't.
He taught us that if you're gonna sing a hymn, you need to sing it and sing every line. But what I did discover though, when I got older, was that hymns were rooted in the experience of the writers. Yeah. And so for me, when I sing certain hymns now, I sing it with more passion and more feeling because I know the meaning of them. Yeah. And you'll be surprised, since we're talking about hymns, people who don't know the hymns, I think that's one of the things that's lost in this new church.
Generation.
I love praise and worship. I love CCM, but there's something about hearing a good hymn. You know, every communion Sunday we sing "Draw Me Nearer." Yeah. We sing the blood that Jesus shed. There is a fountain. That's the one we sing the most. Yeah. And what a lot of people don't know is certain verses that relates to our lives. You know, the third verse says, a lot of people don't know, "Dear dying lamb, thy precious blood shall never lose its power. Till all the ransomed church of God be saved, to sin no more." And so that carries weight, not only in the scriptures, but should carry weight in the believer's life. So that's why I love the hymns, being rooted in them. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, so you grow up in, so this is nothing that none of us have experienced. Me, Alvin, Dwayne, right. None of us have experienced what you experienced growing up as a PK kid. Second generation, right? Second generation preacher. And what is that like? Okay, so now I have kids, so I understand. I can't express to them or explain to them what it's like being a child to a PK kid. I mean, a preacher. But what was it like coming up, bro? Because we know the jokes, we know the stuff come, and we're gonna get to, your thorn. But what was that like coming up, man? With you a PK kid and you like, oh man.
Well, I'm gonna be honest, brother. Those who know me know my father is some call the godfather in the city, Reverend Dr. James B. Sampson, who was one of the godfathers of the Baptist faith in the state of Florida also. Mm-hmm. Pray for him. He is running for the National Baptist Convention president. I had to put that plug in there. But anyway,
that's for free.
He's actually, it wasn't what most people would think.
Yeah.
My experience was, we had to watch where we went, but they weren't so strict on us to where we were rebellious like that. Okay. My mother stayed home and she manned down she kept the home together. Yeah, my father, I saw my father as a pastor work and pastor. Mm-hmm. And you have to understand the dynamic between the two. One of the things that I tell people growing up in the house of a pastor is that you automatically have a stigma on you. Them PK kids, something else. Yeah. That's one of the things. And sometimes, I'm going to be honest with you, I used to try to live up to that stigma because you put it out there. Yeah. Most people know me, my mindset, I'm a very comical guy, but I can have no feelings sometimes. And so for me, I had to really watch how I carried myself because my father blessed me with a wonderful name. Mm-hmm. And so when I got into ministry, a lot of people ask me how did I get into ministry. My father didn't force me into ministry at all. As a matter of fact, I didn't want to be in ministry. I was playing, writing, singing, and then the Lord pulled me into ministry. And he had already known, but I loved him for that because he never forced me into ministry. And let me just say this to people out there who want their sons or their daughters to be in ministry. Don't force them to be into ministry. If it's in them, it'll come out of them at the appointed time. And that's what happened with me. Happened to be at a young age. I think you and I was the youngest Baptist preachers for a long time. Then we didn't have everybody preaching and being, ordained, at the age of 17, 18, like that. We had to really work. But my father, he really instilled in me certain values that I did follow sometimes, and then other times I didn't. you know, but he was very patient with me. So that was my experience with him. The only thing, you know, sometimes he got stuck in the pastoral role, which I had to understand that because that's his life. Yeah. You know, and I understand it more now because that's his calling, that's his life. Did I like it all the time? No. And you know my father, he did not play with any of us. So growing up in the household.
He was bivocational too. So.
Bivocational, yes.
Yeah. So that was definitely, you know, he worked a full-time job. And then
full-time job.
Full-time pretty much at the church because that's what they expect.
Right.
So you missing all that quality time because y'all time is at the church.
Well, I'm going to tell you another thing that it taught me. It taught me what to do and what not to do. It was amazing when I got married. At my wedding, my father made a confession. He said, you know, I didn't even know that you and Mia went to prom together. Mm-hmm. And he said, son, I challenge you never to be so busy with the church that you miss your children's your children's life. Yeah. And so that's one thing I did learn. Yeah. My father is a very driven man. Yeah. I never punished him for that because I know his intention, and he was a great provider, and he's a great father. Yeah. You know, but we can be so driven. Sometimes I have to slow myself down because I can be so driven, you know, doing a lot of writing and preaching and being in school and, you know, trying to provide, you know, but never put your kids' life aside. One of the things I value the most in my life is the relationship I have with my kids. And most people who know me know I take that very serious. My son has a soccer game, I'm gonna be there. My daughter has a recital, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna do everything I can. Unless I just absolutely can't, then, you know, I'm gonna be available. Yeah. So
cool. So when I said Thorn, not too many people know this, so this is part of my Pain Your Game. But we, like, of course, we joke all the time. We rank all the time. Right. And so you have to have, like, this, if you're going to be a part of this crew, you got to have, like, tough skin, you know, if you're going to be a part of our crew. And hopefully one day we'll get all us in here and we can
be good,
and chill. But you had a speech problem growing up.
Right.
And so with that speech problem, you develop a confidence that some people look at as being arrogant. So if you don't know you, if you're not close to you, or if you don't have a relationship with you from afar, some people can take that confidence as arrogance, but it's just a confidence that you're confident in who you are. Right. And that's what I've discovered about you is it don't matter what it is. Like when we first started preaching, we challenged each other. Right. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't gonna say it was competition, but you can say it was a slight competition between us because if you wasn't going somewhere to preach, I was going somewhere to preach. Yes, if you wasn't, we was running like by each other. And so that's what developed our relationship. And something your dad said years ago that stick with me to this day is we was right, it was me, you, and Al. And he was like, never be jealous of each other's gift.
Right.
And always respect each other's gift. Nice. And I took something from you, I took something from Al in that season of my life because I wanted to be, you know what I'm saying, better at, you know, presenting, and we're going to get it all in, I know you, because that's your thing, presenting the gospel, being effective, being efficient when I present the gospel. So what gave you that confidence when you was growing up? Like, it just developed or?
Man, it really just developed. Honestly, most people don't know this, but growing up, you know, I had some insecurities about that. For real. Yeah. And, you know, growing up on the street I grew up on, you know, we ranked all the time.
Yeah.
And so for me, I got to a place where I either I was going to be depressed, or I was going to be happy. And I think a lot of times, and that's a great thing that you just brought up, because so many times we look at our insecurities, our insufficiencies, and we make that the main excuse why we can't be effective, instead of working on it, and you know, making that be a challenge to ourselves. So that's what I did. I know I talk with my tongue, I still do it, you know, to this day. And I'm like, okay, but what I did was, I challenged myself. I said, even though I talk with my tongue, when you hear me, whatever come out my mouth is gonna count.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's not that I'm arrogant, you know, at all, you know, because I didn't know people view me like that.
No, I'm just saying
right.
it could be taken.
It could be taken like that.
Nobody's ever said that to me, but I know certain people that's close to me now. They said that about me.
Right.
And they said because when you walk into a room, you demand attention. But I'm like, it's not a demand of attention of me thinking of myself. It's just a confidence that I have in who I am. And so I know that you have that same confidence, but it's from different places. It has the same effect, but it's from different places.
Well, the confidence part for me came in, again, my upbringing. I strategically surrounded myself with people who can help me be better in what I do.
Yeah.
You know, when I used, you know, I did, and you know that.
Yeah.
I would do that because I wanted to get to a certain place. And then two, you know, we as Sampson men, you know, my father, I don't come from a line of preachers.
No.
I come from a line of alcoholics.
Exactly.
My great-great-granddaddy died from alcohol. My great-grand died from alcohol. And my grandfather died from alcohol. All right, all of them were brilliant men, but that was their struggle. And so my father set the precedent of, okay, since we had 3 generations of drunks or alcoholics, we're going to have 6 generations of preachers. But with that, you know, they instilled in me a confidence. When you walk in the room, hold your head up.
Yeah.
And I teach my boys that now.
Yeah.
Whenever my boys come to their head now, I grab them by their hair. Put your head up. You're a child of God. You know, the Creator made you. You know, and no matter what you think you are, and no matter what you think you're lacking in, you either can sob in it or you can become better from it. And so for me, what I did was I learned a lot of words. You know, I love reading.
Yeah.
I learned all these words. Then I learned how to pronounce them. And then I had to learn my niche. You know, I had to be comfortable with my uncomfortabilities.
Yeah.
And I think people don't want to do that. I think a lot of people, they're so afraid of going to the dark places. And when you never visit those dark places in the dark, the Creator can't work on you and build your confidence. I went through a season, man, that a lot of y'all don't know, man. I went through a season where I wasn't really talking to nobody but y'all. And what I was doing is I would be in the mirror practicing how to pronounce words, man. But people don't know that. You know what I'm saying? I went through a season where, you know, I didn't think I was the most attractive dude in the world. Nobody don't believe that because the way I walk, when I talk, you know, but I had to look in the mirror and say, man, you great. The Lord made you, the Creator made you. And I think even to this day, that affects us. That's why a lot of people are jealous of other people's gifts. Because when you get people who are insecure in their gifts, then now they feel as though, you know, they either got to tear you down to make them look better instead of walking in the gift that God has given you. And one of the things that helped us, with me personally, with the people around us, because we was around some extremely gifted guys. You know what I'm saying? Like you yourself, extremely gifted. My brother Alvin, even the guys in the convention. I met guys all the way across the country. Now it's twofold. First fold is I'm confident in my gift because God has given me a certain gift. You know, my gift has always been argumentation and seeing stuff in the text. You know what I'm saying? And so I wrote on that. The second thing is, what keeps me humble is that I know there are people in the country, in the city, in the neighborhoods who just like me or better. I never forget when I got the appointment to be the vice president of the music auxiliary. First year I went in there, I was like, man, all this traditional music ain't nobody here, man. The first year I went there, I met my boy J. Anthony Plenty. At the time, I was just working on a master's degree. He had just got through arguing his dissertation for his PhD in sacred music. You know, I met a guy, Quintrell Burrell, from Carolina, pastor. He's in Charlotte.
Yeah.
I'm talking about can sing, play, and preach. And so it made me look like, wow. But what I discovered was they look at me like I look at them.
Yeah.
So when you have an appreciation for yourself first, then you can appreciate other people's gift. And I think the body of Christ is turning a lot of people away because of that, because they don't want to come to a situation where it's competition.
Exactly.
You know, for me, I've never had competition. I get up there and do what God tells me to do, and I sit down.
And that's what we'll talk though.
We will talk.
Get up there. You know, we went through. These cats, man. Some of these, these young cats, man, they got it easy, dog. We went through what we used to call the chitlin circuit. And,
what?
And man, it was platforms such as this, with Bishop Jackson that gave us an opportunity and a platform to kind of spread our wings. So, I'm always grateful for him. Or, Kavadas Thomas, who gave us opportunities to preach. And gave us opportunities, man, and trusted us, man. But through it all, when you look back over that, you was going into it, and I was like, no, don't do it yet. I'm going into it. But one night, man, we was in Bible study at First New Zion, and me, you, and Alvin, Cooper, was in Bible study, and your dad was up teaching, and I forget what he was teaching, but he asked a question, and like none of us could answer it.
I know what you're talking about.
And so, I'm leading into something. Okay. So that night, he just shuts down Bible study, like seriously, just shuts down Bible study. And he's like, I'm just shutting it down. Does benediction, go in the office, and tells us to come with him. So you like, oh man. This ain't gonna be good. It's not gonna be good. So we go in there and sit down. And he starts Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus. So he go around the room. I don't know who made it or what.
I mean the fathers.
No, man. I knew you was finna come up with that, dog. There's no proof that happened.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
All right. So we go around and none of us make it past 10. We probably made it past 10, but after that it was over. It was a wrap.
That night.
But it was something that woke me up that night because I was like, your dad was right. Because, he went around the room and slashed every last one of us, like piece by piece, and that lit something under me that night because I was like, Pop, right. How are we gonna be effective when we don't even know the tool that we're using to teach God's people? Are we just reading to preach, or are we studying to, develop our lifestyle? And so, and not just develop our lifestyle, but have a relationship with God so that we can, I know how you felt that night. I know how I felt. We felt little. That's how we know we loved it. But your scholarship and approach to the text is amazing to me. Like, of how you can look at a text. So I'll watch. I'll be like, hold up, wait a minute. How you saw that? But your approach to the text, and then when Alvin would preach, I'd be like, how do you find that, man? This joker have 4, 5 points, and all 5 points, you on the edge of your seat. Yeah. So I grew up around this, and so, I didn't want to be just known as a hooper. I wanted to have some scholarship. I wanted to have some information. And so I had to develop that. You know, I had to learn my craft and my style because I didn't want to sound like nobody else. You have your own sound. You have your own sound. So, in a short, tell me how you developed that. Like, you developed your own style.
Well, I think we came up different. Again, this generation now, while they have wonderful technology, and I don't knock it, you know, we didn't have Logos. We didn't have word search.
We have YouTube.
We have YouTube.
Internet.
We didn't have, I think Google came out publicly in 2005, and it's not what it is now.
Yeah.
And so we literally had to go and read the book.
Get the book. Yeah.
Read the book. So for me, I was like you. My father would put us on hoop restriction. If you ain't said nothing, you can't hoop no more, and you ain't gonna read the scripture for the next 9 months. You open up no doors, you're gonna sit there.
Mine was no singing.
Yeah, no
singing before you preach.
None of that. So for me, what I did was, by me being serious about preaching, because I'm serious about the calling of my life.
Yeah.
What I wanted to do was, I wanted to get up and just simply have something to say. Yeah. And again, I surrounded myself with some wonderful influences. Arthur Jackson III was one of them from Miami. My father, of course, Dr. John Allen Newman here. I listen to him a lot. Bishop Guns,
Incredible man.
And other preachers that I would surround myself with. I would go to their offices and just listen to them. Then I studied preaching. You know, I studied preaching. I would get up and I would just look and study and study. Then I would come home, and again, that went into the other insecurity I had. I was trying to develop. I would read and read. And honestly, man, the Lord gave it to me. I can't take no credit for that. Yeah. The Lord gives it to me. Yeah. But you still do have to develop your gift. Now, the reason why me and you don't sound the same is because we didn't come up in the era where we saw other people. Yeah. You know, now everybody want to be Taylor Chapman. Yeah. Everybody want to be Tola Morgan. Yeah. And man, those are some beasts of preachers, man. Tola Morgan, one of my favorites. Yeah. But you have to find your own lane. And sometimes.
But you know, that's how the music industry is now.
Yeah.
There's no personality, there's no creativity. And so everybody sound alike in this industry. But back in the day, there was creators, you know what I'm saying?
But we came up hard in it. Yeah. And very quickly, I know we about to run out of time, but you know, we came up hard. Yeah. You know, we came up having to earn our way up. Yeah. You know, now it's not there. Now when we learn how to play, when I learned how to play, you was there. You know, we would have to go and share it with people. We listened to a song and we thought we was playing the right chord until, you know, this generation don't know about that. Yeah. This generation don't know about having to learn how to play James Hall music. When James Hall got a different verse, different hook, and a different mouth for everything. And we had to rewind the tape and keep going back, trying to learn. Now everything is on YouTube, which I do appreciate. Everybody sounds the same. I could walk up to a church and know who was on the organ before we got in there. We're walking, oh man, that's PJ?
Man, that's PJ.
Oh man, that's Bobby.
That's Boston.
That's Boston. You're right. And then too, they had a brotherhood. I have no brotherhood now among a lot of these musicians. You'll be surprised at the stuff that goes on. You know, one of my sons, Khalid Bell, he tells me a lot of stuff about what's going on. I just be looking like, wow, we didn't have it like that. So my desire, you know, for us to get back to a place where we can use the technology, but let's get back to the place of originality, because we don't have that right now. You know, and then too, it's so crazy that if you don't have a certain sound, they don't think you can play because you're not trying to be like them. And that create division and circles, and we got to get past that, because a lot of people are gifted and may not have the confidence to do certain stuff. I remember I got a chance to play with Band of Destiny one conference. That boosted my confidence because they took me as a little brother and took me under their wing. Exactly. And so a lot of people don't have that now. Yeah, man. So.
Man, bro, we got to do a part 2, bro.
Got to do a part 2, man.
Well, listen, between me and you and Al, we're going to hook this thing up. I want a live studio. I just want you to be live, all of us to be together. Wayne, all of us to be just together, man. Yeah. Love you, man.
Love you, brother.
Thank you for your time, and we're gonna figure it out so we can get all
Let's
this
figure it
together.
out. Let's figure it out.
We gotta get a part two because I know there's gonna be a high demand. Thank you all for tuning in for another episode of My Pain, Your Gain, hosted by your boy, Pastor Art. Thank you for your support. We love you. God bless you. Listen, tune in again next week, 10 o'clock a.m. We love you. Have a wonderful week, and God bless you. Grace and peace.
Grace and peace. God bless
My
you.
pain, your gain. Where the real keeps it real.
Overcoming is not a new concept. History has shown us the experiences of the historic voices and martyrs. Have you been struggling with pain in the past? Do you need help dealing with things that are holding you back from achieving all that you want in life? Tune in to My Pain, Your Gain, hosted by Pastor Arthur Williams. This show is designed to help the next generation accomplish the goals they've set out to attain through practical conversations. Join in and find how to turn prior pain into glorious gain.
Do you have a business or product? Are you looking to advertise, maybe to get the word out to thousands of people on a daily? You should consider the Inspired Network. We have affordable packages that can assist you at getting the word out about your product or business. Call us today at 866-804-6774.
Your financial support keeps the ministry alive. You can be a blessing by sowing via Cash App today at $TeachJax, or you can text to give at 833-481-1524 and text the word.
So you've been watching the show. Would you like to be a content provider yourself and develop a show for the Inspire Network? Please give us a call today at 904-389-5592 or go to www.connecttv.info to submit a show idea.
Have a praise report or a testimony of how any of the programming at the Inspired Network has been a blessing to you? Please go to www.myprayerrequest.info. Click on the tab Testimony and submit it today. The IPC prayer team would love to know how effective the ministry is being to you.
Do you love video production? Would you like to have a career in video production, but don't know where to start? Your problem is you have no one to teach you. Well, the Inspired Television Network is initiating its apprenticeship program. We'll teach you video production, how to set up the simple camera operation, post-production, and advanced editing. Imagine sitting down with an expert and being taught weekly how to do it. It's a 6-month program that requires a minimum of 10 hours a week of hands-on training and 3 hours a week of classroom training. You've always wanted to make movies or learn production. This is the perfect program for you. Give us a call today at 904-389-5592 or sign up at www.learntv.today. It's free for churches and nonprofits.
Do you need a morning prayer line? A place you can call to hear from God? Call the International Prayer Council Intercessory Prayer Line, Monday through Saturday at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 904-299-7